Hey everyone, my name is Josh and welcome back to your fourth stimulus package and news update. We have a lot of news to get into in today's video, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull, valued all the way up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so after months of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying she wouldn't vote on the Build Back Better reconciliation plan, nor the bipartisan infrastructure bill, until they first reached an agreement with the Senate, she now has a change of plans. Now, she wants to hold a vote on both the Build Back Better Act and the infrastructure bill either today or tomorrow. In all reality though, the House will not be able to hold votes on the 2 bills today, as these types of things tend to get pushed back further than their deadlines. More than likely, if we do see a vote, it'll either be on Friday or at some point this weekend. Even then, we've heard all this before. We've heard that they're going to hold a vote on this day or that day, and then something happens which then causes the vote to get pushed back a few more weeks. Will it happen again this time? Time will only tell, but it definitely wouldn't surprise me. One provision Pelosi added back into the reconciliation bill yesterday was 4 weeks of paid family and medical leave. Not long ago, that measure was stripped from the bill due to Joe Manchin's opposition to it. Of course, Manchin said the rules of reconciliation didn't allow for the policy to be in the bill. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is, even if the House does move quickly on the Build Back Better plan and passes it through their chamber in the next few days, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Senate will move quickly too. All it would simply mean is that Pelosi and other progressives in the House are tired of the slow-moving Senate, and they want the Senate to feel some pressure to get the bill passed also. Of course, will the Senate feel any of this pressure? Perhaps Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and others will, but for Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, probably not. Last night in an interview on Fox News, Manchin said the House needs to go ahead and pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and as far as reconciliation goes, maybe we should slow down just a bit.
But what do Democrats take it from it, do you think? What should they take from it?
Well, I would think that, let's say on the legislation we're about to start negotiating on, which is the reconciliation bill, there's no excuse why the infrastructure bill hasn't passed long ago, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. It would have been great for our country. It's still great for our country. And I'm hoping we get bipartisan support. It's a bipartisan bill. But the reconciliation bill, I think what it says is kind of slow down, take a breath. Let's look at this. We're talking about major tax overhaul, reform. We're talking about changing our energy policies. We're talking about a whole social rearrangement. We're talking about $29 trillion of debt. We better get our hands around it and be responsible. And I've always said, if you can't get your financial house in order, it's hard to do anything.
Another issue for House Speaker Pelosi will be the 5 moderate Democrats who have publicly declared that they would like a full score before the bill goes to the floor. They also don't want to go over 2,000 pages of legislation in just a few hours, and progressives want to pressure them into voting for the bill. To that, this is Senator Manchin's response.
I want to talk about process, because the House is moving forward with both of these bills. And we've got reporting from Chad Pergram, a group of 5 moderate Democrats insisting that the bill, the Build Back Better bill, get a full CBO, Congressional Budget Office score, before it goes to the floor, potentially as early as tomorrow. As a result, Democratic leaders are trying to force the issue, pressure these moderate Democrats to vote yes. Moderate Democrats, we're told, are irate that they are having to fillet 2,135 pages of new legislation on the fly. Quote, "We resent it," said one moderate Democratic source. "This is only strengthening our resolve." What do you say to those moderates
I would say
in the
to
House?
all of my House friends on both the Democrat and Republican side, but speaking to my Democrat sides, there has to build some goodwill. Let them vote on the infrastructure bill. Take the time to work the reconciliation bill the way it needs to be worked, the CBO scoring, talking more about the effects it has all through our economy and all through people's lives. That's something reasonable to ask. I understand that, and I'm not going to tell anyone how they should run their end of this Congress of ours. And Nancy Pelosi is very capable. I know her. I get along fine with her. We just, maybe come from 2 different parts of the country and 2 different philosophical beliefs.
Manchin also said the bill that comes to the Senate, if passed first in the House, won't be the same bill he goes off of.
In that bill that's going to be filed either tonight or tomorrow, there are taxes. There's language to raise taxes on individuals below the $400,000 threshold. And and one of them is on nicotine. Have you changed your position or on regressive taxes or anything below that 400,000?
Well, I never thought the 400,000 barrier should have been there to begin. Okay, if you're going to do tax reform, do tax reform. The last time we had a balanced budget with surpluses was when everybody paid a little bit of something, making sure that the richest of the richest and all of those are in between. But with that, where we are right now, a tax on nicotine, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Is that a non-starter for you?
Well, there's so many things in there. I guess
You have a lot of non-starters?
I have a lot of concerns, let's put it that way. But I'm not going to, they're working off the House bill. That's not going to be the bill I work off of.
Additionally, Manchin talks a bit of the timeline for when he expects the bill to possibly pass through.
So
We're
if
working
somebody's
off
sitting
that.
at home on the couch and they're
Yeah.
listening to this, and we explain the process, but sometimes you need a whiteboard because there's a lot of stuff happening over here. When would this process move forward, in your mind?
This process, if they're going to vote on it tomorrow, then it'll go through the scrub of next week. Then it'll be a week before it comes to us, as I understand. So if that comes over and they start working off of that, and then we have a reconciliation program with a vote-a-rama that basically has a bird rule, and these are all pretty technical things, but it basically sees as it fits if it doesn't fit. Once we get a ruling from the parliamentarian, forget about this. People might be all excited about something now or say, that's a non-starter. It might not even fit in the bill because on our side it doesn't fit. It doesn't come within the rules of reconciliation. So wait until that's done, see what you have before you, and then we start voting.
So, for example, Speaker Pelosi wants to put paid leave policies on small businesses in a partisan package.
I'm more concerned about unpaid leave because if you put that paid leave in, it's not being paid for. I'm all for paid leave, and I believe that people should have the
But you
ability.
think it should be done separately?
Separately, completely separately, because we can do this in a bipartisan way. Brett, anything that we do in a bipartisan way is lasting. It stays. And this is something where both the employees can participate, people can build up their credits and use their time as they desire.
Finally, Manchin is asked about Representative Cori Bush's comments where she basically accused Manchin of being a racist. Here's what Manchin had to say about that.
Two more questions.
Sure.
One is you've had people out to your houseboat. You've had people following you around. You've had progressives, protesting you. Cori Bush says Joe Manchin's opposition to Build Back Better Act is anti-black, anti-child, anti-woman, anti-immigrant. When we talk about transformative change, we are talking about a bill that will benefit black, brown, and indigenous communities. Your response to Congresswoman
I would just say the Congresswoman doesn't know me. She doesn't know me. And happy to talk to her. I think maybe she'll have a different opinion. Go home to West Virginia and ask people. I think you'll get a different opinion. This is a shame when we start this war of words. I'm not going to speak ill about any of my congressional friends and colleagues on the House side or the Senate side. We can have a difference of opinion. The rhetoric around here has gotten so harsh and so toxic that you can't agree to disagree anymore. You can't sit down and say, okay, I disagree with you, Brett. And you're going to say, okay, Joe, do we agree on the same problem? I said, yeah, let's start working. Tell me what you think you would fix it. That's not happening.
So
And
progressives...
let me tell you what I don't hear,
Yeah.
what scares the bejesus out of me. I don't hear people saying, this is good for our country. It's more or less on both sides. This is better for my party. This is better for the 2022 election.
So let me
So it's quite obvious at this point that we still have quite the divide between what moderates such as Joe Manchin want and what progressive Democrats are seeking. They're basically on two completely different tracks, and it's questionable whether or not they'll ever be able to get on the same page. It seems like we may see the House pass whatever bill they think is best, and then after that, we'll see the Senate amend the bill according to what Joe Manchin wants. From there, it'll be up to the House to either approve of it or amend it once again before sending it back to the Senate. Also, yesterday, the White House did release a table showing how they plan on paying for the Build Back Better Act. As you can see, in total, it would account for $2.1 trillion, so even if the bill did exceed $1.75 trillion, they would still have just enough. So we should expect an interesting next few weeks with House Democrats looking to pass Build Back Better and possibly the infrastructure bill. As far as the bill passing in the Senate, again, that's going to be completely up to Joe Manchin and whether or not he can ever work out an agreement with the progressive Democrats in the House. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple of free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link in the description box below. To receive the first stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their day. If you did enjoy the content in today's video and you found it helpful in whatever way, I would greatly appreciate if you go ahead and give this video a like, a big thumbs up. That does help out with YouTube algorithm. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.